The headlights in my Porsche Cayman aren't just like any normal headlight. And that's because from the factory my Cayman was spec'd with bi-Xenon headlights. And the reason that makes them differ from standard lights is because the bi-Xenon lights have a much brighter and whiter light
than your standard halogen, and that's what this passenger side light is, and that's why it doesn't work on my Cayman yet.
And even if this light did work, I'm gonna have to strip it down anyway because the lenses have a lot of cracks in them, and that's why I got this light so cheap. So because I'm gonna have to replace that lens, I thought, well, it makes sense to do that one as well because that's all yellow and foggy. So today's mission is to create a fully working set of bi-Xenon headlights. And to do that, not only am I gonna need what's left of the internals of the old headlight, but I'm also gonna need what's in this package.
And in that package was a set of brand new Porsche 987.1 headlight lenses.
And to update the cost board, those headlight lenses cost me £167, which sounds like a lot, but a new halogen, a replacement Xenon headlight just for the passenger side would have cost 250 quid on its own. I managed to get the halogen one for 70 quid, and the lenses were 167, which means that would have been 230 quid in total, so I've paid less than what it would have cost to buy a replacement Xenon light. And because the lenses are for both lights, I'll have a pair of lights that look brand new for the cost of one Xenon for the passenger side. It's gonna be a bit more work, but it's definitely gonna be worth it. And let me know down below in the comment section if you would have done the same thing I've done or if you'd have just bought a new Xenon headlight. But anyway, that's enough chatting. Let's get these two lights out, let's start stripping them down and turn that one into a Xenon and make them both look brand new.
So now that I've got the headlight off, I noticed there's a rubber seal on the back that I need to remove before I even dare try and put the heat gun to it, because the heat gun will melt or damage that rubber seal, and I haven't got another one, so I need to make sure that that is okay. Now that the rubber seal has been removed successfully and still in one piece, it's time to get the heat gun out and go around the lens and try and soften the plastic and the glue and whatever is in there that is potentially keeping that lens to the headlight. After a few passes with the heat gun and the lens is nice and warm, I'm going to go around it with a pry tool and try and gently pry the lens off, making sure not to snap anything on the headlight housing because it's very easy to do, and I really don't want to do that. Because this lens is already cracked, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to take off because I can do it in two parts. Because on this bit, when I give it a big pull, the lens just split right down the middle, which was good because then I can get my finger under the other side as I was going around the other side to pull up and give me a leverage point to try and focus where my weight's going so I don't snap the headlight housing itself. One little bit I found tricky was this little tab on the bottom, because I needed to make sure that doesn't snap, because that's what keeps the headlight lens in on the bottom once you fit it, so it doesn't pop out. So I had to just pull on the lens and slowly pry that tab up gently as I was pulling until it come free. And now I can finally remove what's left of the old damaged lens.
Now that's the lens successfully removed, and I'll be honest with you, that went a lot better than I expected it to. Now the lens is off, like I said, all of this bit on the inside and the back needs to be replaced with all of this. And I don't really know how to do this yet, but we'll figure it out. But I know on the back of this there's bolts, so we need to take those screws out, take that off, and then we'll go from there and we'll just see how far I can get. And hopefully get this out, get that swapped and get this working.
Now I've never stripped the headlight down before to refurbish it, so I'm kind of just trying to figure this out as I go along. But I know one thing is I need to take the back off, so that's the first thing I do. Take the screws off, unclip the clips and pull it out. After that, it exposes all the cables and all the wires for the light bulbs within the headlight itself. So I'll remove the main beam first, and then I'll go around the light and see if there's any other screws or fixings that could potentially hold this reflective shroud in on the front, because that's what I need to get out first. At least that's what I think. After looking around the headlight down the gap between the reflective silver shroud on the inside and the housing itself, I can see it looks like they're put in with clips. So I'm going to go around the edge and gently pry it with a pry tool, and hopefully it comes out without snapping anything. And luckily enough, my guess was right and I can take it out of the housing. Now it looks like everything at the back of the headlight slides forward to come out, and there's a few things stopping it from doing that. So on the left hand side here you can see the mechanical manual adjustment screws. Because they're on two helical gears, I need to pull the metal tab forward to get those plastic gears out. Then on the tops at the back you can see two black clips. If I pinch the clips and push them back, that takes it out of the silver shroud, and all of that unit at the back should slide forwards and I can take it out of the headlight. Now this is out, I can remove the main beam reflector, and then from there I can compare what's left of the old Xenon lens to the new Halogen lens and transfer anything I might need to build up the new headlight, which is 90% of it. Because the Xenon headlights have an auto self-leveling feature, the Xenon lens has this solenoid coil on the top along with a little metal leveling tab which blocks out the light from the back, and then there's a pin that also allows it to swing on, so I need to remove all of that from the Xenon lens, install it to the Halogen lens and make sure I don't break or snap anything, and it's a very fiddly process, but again, like I said, I'm just taking off what was on one side and fitting it to the other. That's how I'm getting around it, because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. But despite not knowing what I'm doing, I think it's going well so far, because I've managed to fit the solenoid and everything still works as it should mechanically, but we'll soon find out if it still works when I plug it all in electrically.
So now I'm at this point, and yes, everything is an absolute mess, but I think we're making okay progress. So you've just seen there, this little, I don't even know what this does. It's like a magnetic solenoid cap thing, but this here is what opens and closes this flap. So we've got that on now, which is good. So that's all bolted up, or screwed up should I say. But on the halogen lights, this here is a manual pin. It just holds that in one position and that's it. But on the Xenons, it has this little motor. And this motor goes there and it clips into where that clips in, and then it moves that forward and back. I think that's to adjust the light going up and down, but you can see a problem there because this is the halogen frame, so we need to modify that to accept this motor. And this is the other Xenon light off the Porsche, and I've took the leveler off this one, and you can see there's a hole in there, and then that ball goes into the clip, which is that clip. So what I need to do is I need to drill a hole in that, take the screw out, and then make up a bracket, or potentially get me mate to 3D print one so I can permanently mount that in there. All I need to do is get a set of calipers, which I've got, measure the height or thickness of this, and I can potentially glue it in. I'd rather not if I can avoid it, but that's also an option. The reason I'm measuring the thickness of this is so that the headlights are at the same level. So with that being there, if I just glued the motor straight to it, it'd lose, I think that's about 4 mil. It'd lose 4 mil worth of depth, or it'd gain it, should I say. So the headlights wouldn't necessarily sit at the same level. So that's my next challenge. But I could also do that after the fact, but I need to drill a hole before I get the light reassembled and put back together. But so far, so good. And I think we're making good progress. I won't lie to you, I knew this was going to be a big task, but I didn't realise just how big it was going to be.
Now I'm at this point, I can refit the bulb holder, the main beam reflector and the cable management bracket. And after that, I'm going to work my magic and try and come up with something for the leveling motor. This is my plan of action. I'm going to get my calipers out and measure the width of the snout on the motor, and when I do, it comes up with 12.9mm, which realistically is around 13, but my plan is to drill through the plastic with a 12.8mm drill bit, which gives me a little bit of interference either side on the plastic, and because plastic is relatively malleable, I can just force the motor in and it should hold it in. I'll put a dab of glue in just in case, but I need to drill this out first. It was at this point I realised I really need to prioritise getting a workbench in the unit, because I can't keep doing this on my coffee table. But now the holes are drilled, I'm going to test fit the motor, which fits nice and snug. Now I can take it out, put a bit of glue on the shoulders on the opposite side so it'll hold it well, but if I do need to take it out, there's not going to be too much there and I can just pull on it. Now that the glue's on, I'm going to get the motor in, press it in and make sure everything is nice and tight and the connector is clocked to the right orientation, because if it's in the wrong place, when I put it back on the headlight, I won't be able to plug it in. While the glue's drying, I'm going to fit the Xenon wire loom, because I need to get that in first before anything else. And then I can click the level and motor bracket onto the lens, and if it all snaps and goes in as it should, we're on to a winner. Now I can refit the lens and auto leveling bracket assembly, along with the manual adjustment gears and the tab that holds it all in place. Now that all that's in properly, I'm going to go to the back of the headlight and start to assess the wiring. Because the Xenon headlights are a lot more technologically advanced than the halogen ones, there's a lot more cables to plug back in the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the driver's side headlight, because luckily I've still got that, and I can use that as a reference on where to run the cables on the inside of this light. And luckily for me, the wiring loom and all the connectors are still in good condition on this, so they just fall and plug in exactly where they should. Now that the wiring loom's plugged in the back and everything's clicked in, I'm going to refit the front reflector, because that just clicks in as well, and then I can go around the headlight and refit all the screws I'd taken out to get that out. Now that all the screws are back in, I'm going to put the indicator back in, put the little cover cap back on, and now I can move to the cover on the back of the headlight where I can stick the transformer for the Xenons. Now the transformer is secured to the back, I just need to screw the back onto the headlight, and that's essentially it.
So this is it, the moment of truth. Have the hours I've spent rebuilding this headlight with all the other crash bits and whatever else actually going to be worth it? The lens isn't on yet, so I thought plug it in, make sure it works. Then I can get the lens on, because if it doesn't I'll have to troubleshoot it, and I can't do that when the lens is on. So let's get it in and see if it works. So now it's the moment of truth. I'm actually quite nervous for this. 3, 2, 1. Yes! It worked! Now put the lens on and get the other light built.
Now I know the headlight works, and I'm made up I've managed to get it to work. I'm going to go around the housing with some Tiger Seal. Yes, I know Tiger Seal seems a bit much for this, but when I took the other lens off, it seemed like it had a polyurethane type sealant on it first, so I'm going to reuse similar stuff. So I'm going to go around it with that sealant, get the lens in, click it on the bottom and press it hard to make sure it goes on properly. And that's that lens fitted and this headlight fully restored. Now it's time to do the driver's side. Just going to peel the lens off, re-glue it, stick the lens back on, and then that's a set of headlights fully done. And here is a set of fully refurbished by Xenon headlights. This is the first time I've ever stripped headlights down to recondition them, and I'm so glad I did, because they've made the world of difference to the front end of the car.
Not only is that one now compatible with the car, but it should work, but we'll get to that. That one looks a lot better too, because it did used to look like this. And I think you've got to agree that yellow lens made the car look dirty and quite old. Although having said that, I have just realised that this Porsche is 20 years old. But anyway, now that the lights are in, the next thing I need to do is a full functionality test, because I need to check that that Xenon works as it should now that they're both back in with the fresh lenses. I also want to see if the high beam works, if the indicators work, and if they turn off. Well, they look like they turn off as they should, but you know what I mean. So let's get them tested. So you can actually see the lights. I've turned the hex light down to half light, so just the grid's on. But another thing I want to test with the headlights, with the Xenons, I think I mentioned this with the motor, they have a self-leveling feature, so I want to make sure that when they come on, they go up and down, because that's what they should do as a primary setting to set themselves. But anyway, that's enough talking. Let's test these lights. So the lights are on. Yeah, I think they've leveled off. So the lights are on. It looked like it based on the beam pattern on the wall. This is full beam. And this is the right indicator. This is the left indicator. Let's turn full beam off. That's flash. And what else can we do while we're here? Let's stick the hazards on so I can see the indicators. Yes. I'm so glad I did that to both the lights because I think they look fantastic. And considering the lights are supposedly used in the dark, let's turn them off on the car. Let's turn the lights off in the unit. Let's see just how bright these Xenon headlights are. So I've got a skylight so you can see a little bit, but let's turn the switch on. And these are the lights. And you can see it's more of a white light than it is. I think the main beam's still halogen. Oh no, I think that's that. Ah, that might have been what the little flap was inside the lights. For the main beam, maybe. But anyway, that to me says that this has been one successful day. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I think I've done really well with the Porsche Cayman, but we're slowly making more and more progress. And if you've liked what you've seen today, remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get an update every time I post a video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Afraid to turn out the lights? Is